Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodity Futures Report for Wednesday, October the 26th. And starting with the yields here, we're still zooming away up into this wave 5 of wave 3 here. Then there'll be wave 4 and then there'll be wave 5. I don't know if that's going to be wave 1 up here or wave 2. It can certainly be an A wave and a B wave here. I just thought it was pretty exciting to put wave 1 and wave 2 there, because that would certainly see this third wave go up here, which would be absolutely devastating, but I mean, we're going to go up there anyway by the looks of it, so yeah, but I just have to say, I don't know if it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 going up further. I mean, this wave 3 here, to give you some ideas, wave 3 here should be longer than wave 1 here, so that would be sort of way up yonder here, which would be pretty frightening. So I don't know if that's the case, but just counting the 5 waves up here, I will have a look at, I mean, most of these rates around the world, I'm in Australia, so our 2 years are the same pattern and around the same price and so on. And, it's been a bit of an orchestrated thing, hasn't it, putting rates up around the world. So the flip side to this would be, so looking at this little thing here, down here, the opposite to this would be the the bonds here. These are just the iShare 20-year ones, so it'll all be the same sort of pattern. So really, I need to start labeling these markets as well. Just it'll be a little bit sort of helpful in terms of just confirming the count. That's all. No big deal in any other regard. But I will be taking it from this top here. That's where I'm taking it from. Okay, just so you know. Yeah, so we'll be looking down for wave 3 down here. So you can see, we're back down at 2000, and I don't have much data on this, back down to 2008 here. I mean, it was quite frightening, for the Europeans at the 2011 with the Greeks and all the rest of them. I mean, the Italian bonds have got a really wide spread on them at the moment, but it doesn't really instill a lot of confidence, does it, for the treasuries? I mean, why would you buy them? Especially if there's a run on the dollar, that's going to cause some problems. But I mean, I just sort of see that, you can see that this is a nice big third wave down here. When it finishes, it will have some sort of ABC correction, and then it'll go down again. That's what I'm I don't know if I should call that wave A or B and C down here, or 1 and 2. The same on the flip side on the other market. So but yeah, so we can just this will be a bit of an important price point here for a while. We'll see that gravitate around that space there for a while, which is for me is a major trading level. So we can put that there. But the 90 and the 80 will come in. Anyway, I'll start piecing it together. It just, when you look at different markets, it helps you confirm wave counts and makes things a little bit easier with everything. So this will be wave 1 here. I've got to put it in where I can see. I just can't help myself. So labeling things in my sleep. Things are looking really good then. And I don't know about this 5th wave yet, but we can pull that apart in due course. This wave 4, of course, can come back to this wave 4, but normally they're a little bit sort of lower, but not a biggie. And then this wave, this length here will be about the same as this length. So we'll be down at the 80, which is another major trading level. Basically 10, 20, 30, 50, 80, the Fibonacci sequence. They're all major levels. And when we get to get back to 1 again, we just go to the power of 10, so 100, 200, 300, 500, so on. Anyway, you know my little story about all of that, so I won't bore you to death, but anyway, we'll bring that into the fold, as I mentioned a while ago. Over to the US dollar here, and I won't go into the bigger picture today with this, but I've been doing a bit of work on it and looking at various ways. I've been looking at it being bullish and bearish, and you know, that way I can kind of get a more balanced view on the situation. But anyway, in the short term, we've been looked at this as being wave B here, and we counted our first little 5 waves down here for 1 and 2, and then we're in this third wave here, so we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here, then there'll be a fourth wave, and then there'll be a fifth wave. So I'll treat it as a corrective move here. Now, I could certainly be wrong here as a corrective move. The reason I think it's corrective is because of the yields and the bonds and, you know, the main money sort of pathway. But it's possible to have a top in here as well. But even if that was the case, this would have to be wave 1. And I've never been satisfied with the actual 5 waves here. I may have to sort of suck it up, but there's overlap. It's a bit short, and, you know, it's things. And then I'd have to look at this as wave 2. Well, I have to look at wave 2 to here, really, because I can count 5 waves up here. Maybe I could sort of squeeze it in there. But even so, even if I have to look at it, it's just a very big wave 2 here, you know. If this was a wave 3 coming down, I'd see this come down much faster than it is at the moment. So anyway, the thing is that when I get my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right, anything below that, then we can talk about being, you know, anything below that 5 wave structure, we can talk about a bigger bearish picture at that point. Because if this is going to be bigger bearish here, that means there's a low in for the pound and the euro and the Aussie, and also for the indices as well, you know. So I was thinking, while this is pulling down here, you know, while this is correcting here, we were seeing the rallies in the DAX and the S&P and all of the indices and the currencies and so on. But this is not finished here yet, you know. So when we have a quick look at the 100 here, just for the traders, from the top here we counted down as 1 ABC for 2, and then 1 and ABC for 2, reoccurring patterns. Also, this is a bit reoccurring as well here. But anyway, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, yada 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 for wave 1. I need to lift it up to a bigger wave 1 to the other, same as the other page as well. So we looked for an ABC, didn't really get up into our box. I can remove that now. I don't want to leave my mistakes hanging there forever. So yeah, so then we sort of counting this down, and I did have this as wave 2 over here, but it was a bit of a dodgy 5 wave structure here, so maybe I could have sort of extended it over here a little bit further, as an A and a B and a C to here, but then I got a high over here. So the best thing to do is bring it over here and look at this as an A and a B and a C over here. This is quite complicated for wave 2, so this wave 4 will be simple. When I spoke this morning, we were looking for a little move up, so that's coming in nicely. So it should be quite complex, simple, complex, or more simple, or more complex. More simple. That's starting to sound like Donald Trump. So yeah, anyway, that's it. So we've got wave 1 and 2 here, going down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, and the fourth wave and the fifth wave coming down. So that's where we'll count that. Anything sort of below that, and then we'll turn more bearish. Okay, so this will be critical for a lot of markets here, you know. So this could be the top. When this bottoms here, that could be the top of the stock market, you know, the bear market rally that we're talking about, and the other markets and so on. So yeah, kind of important to bring everything together a little bit. So yeah, that's that. Don't need to ramble on anymore. So the gold market here, just from this top here, we've been counting 5 waves down. It didn't take a new low here. So I put this, we could have 3, 4 and 5 here as a truncated 5th wave. It's possible, so I do need to keep an eye on it. But otherwise, coming down to here, we're looking at wave 1 with an A and a B and a C wave up here. So we need to look at that C wave moving up. I haven't really checked inside here or anything, but we could probably look at that as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really looked at it. We did really land quite nicely on that 61.8%. There is a bit of a chance this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, then an A and a B and a C here, and then actually come down from this point. So, but the trouble with that is that this is impulsive here, and I've got nothing else to go off because this is a nice 5-wave structure and everything seems to fit reasonably well. So yeah, I think that we will push up while the US dollar is pushing down. I think that's the case. So silver. So going back to 2020 here, the low to the high up here, just roughly at the $30 mark here, then we're basically, what I wanted to point out is we're sitting right on the 61.8% here, and we can see that the market is getting support here at the 61.8%. It's okay to come down to the square root of 61.8%, the 78.6 or thereabouts for this as well, of course. But we are getting that support. It is banging its head against the closest largest number here, this $20 mark here. The main takeaway, I'm going to remove this now, the main takeaway from this point to this point is that this is in 3 waves here. It's not confirmed as 3 waves because it hasn't taken out the low here, but it's sort of good enough for the time being. We could end up with a more complicated wave 4 and move over to here, but that would put it out of line with gold. So we will, as we've been yakking for the last, how many days is this now? 1, 2, 3, for the last week or two, this got to push up. This is going to push up even further here. That 20 is roughly the 61.8%. You can figure that out, do that yourself. But we will push up here further while the dollar is pushing down. It's going to alleviate some pressure here in terms of values or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the right word. So we could end up in more complicated wave 4 or just the wave 2 here for this. Can we move up from here further? Look, the only way I'll turn bullish is I'd have to get all these wave 4s here, these wave 4s, I'd have to get them as a tested support on top of this number here at minimum, and I would need to see an impulse wave here. I mean, well, no, I need more than that, because this can just be some sort of A wave to here, an A, B, C for the B wave here, and 5 waves up here, and then down from that point, and then we go up, So I know that we're quite close to a low. I know that from looking at, ABX, NCM, they're gold, aren't they? But yeah, they're all the same sort of thing to a point. I don't mean to offend any silver bugs or gold bugs and that, but they kind of move together to a point. So this could be an A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave up here. We'll just see how high it comes. Just need to be prepared for things. We could turn long, right? If we do get a C wave up here, then that will be 5 waves. Anything above the 5 waves, and we can turn long at that point. Do you know, anything past that 5 waves, we can go long at that point for better. Because it could be, wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C as wave 2 here. The same sort of thing here. So anything past that 5-way structure, we can look to build in. We'll just take it easy, but we'll build in through group 1 here for that. So yeah, but anyway, it's not resolved yet, so we can't do anything with this. Okay, over to the metals. So copper, lithium, uranium and nickel will do pretty quickly through here. So I'm thinking I think we're in the same sort of boat as gold and a few others, where we're in some sort of wave 4. It's possible to put wave 4 up here and look down as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but we've probably just taken the top out there. So we're in some complex triangle pattern that seems to be working in lots of 3 waves here. So I don't know if we're going to end up in a triangle pattern. It'll be drawn out like this here, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not seeing anything exciting that we can move into at this point. I don't know if that's right or wrong actually, but there's something like that happening here, So nothing to see here, folks. So lithium. So with lithium here, I think that we can have a low in place here. This is just an ETF, it's not a futures market. So I find it very difficult I have to understand I'm on one tick. So normally I look at things at 100 ticks and then up to 50,000 ticks. And if I want to drill into something, then I'll drop into 20 ticks or 10 ticks or something like that. But I rarely ever go to one tick. So, but I'm on one tick here, and you can see the dates here. So I've tried to, I can't figure out if we got 1 and 2 here, or all of this is 1 and 2. You know, if you had one of those Elliott wave algorithms, it would pick it up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this. And don't go spending $3,000 or $4,000 on an Elliott wave algo bit of software, because firstly you'll never learn to count yourself, you'll never apply your mind to it, so you'll never learn. That means you need to trust the machine, and the machine gets a lot of things wrong, because what the algo does, it picks up wave 1, 2 and 3 quite nicely, and then it will look for wave 4 and it'll get you to trade wave 5. But the trouble with wave 4 is that they can be complicated, you see. So when you get those machines, it'll have wave 4 here, and then you'll tell you to go short somewhere, you know, here, and then suddenly the machine will put wave 4 over here, and then, you know, so it does that sort of thing all the time. So don't waste your money on buying one of those sorts of things if you're learning Elliott wave. You have to do the hard yards, and even then it's not that simple, but it's one of the best things out there. I don't know how people trade without it, you know. Anyway, it's difficult to figure out what the count is here, because I just don't have any clarity here. There's a good chance that we can have wave C low in here, as I've been talking about, or we could have another low in over here for that. So while the US dollar is coming down, we could see this coming up, and that's pretty much been the case. So wave 4, even if this was another wave 4, this is be the 38.2% retracement level at 70. If the 70 becomes the support, then we can buy this ETF. We've been long in other lithium stocks in the Australian video, so that's where we're really looking at all of those, but we're just looking at this as a metal as it is. This pattern here, you look, it can be wave 1 and 2 here, wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, and so on to the upside. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here with a little ABC in here. Like I said, it's a bit difficult. I can't zoom in any further than I am at the moment. So yeah, look, we'll just wait. As I mentioned, we're going to watch it push up off the 65, which is a medium level, and we'll just see what happens at the top here. There's still plenty of room for, you know, making money out of this, but you know, the stocks that we're looking at, half a dozen US stocks and Australian stocks, a better way to take on this board. But this little move here is the same as uranium, by the way. So with uranium here, we talked about going long on top of the 20 here. This presents a better picture here of looking at, when it's not confirmed yet, but I can count 5 waves up here. We've got a low here, so we could look at this as being corrective. We can look at that as 5 waves. We can look at this as wave, you know, as an ABC here. We've got 5 waves in this move here, which is pretty clear to me when I did them. So yeah, we can be pushing up here, but we may only push up. We can trade long as the US dollar's pushing down. So we've got a little bit more time here to go with this, you know. Anyway, we'll see. I've got it as wave 2, but we still need to confirm all of that. So not there yet with that, but we can go long, you know. I mean, there's a difference between being an analyst and being a trader. We find ourselves better at one than the other, but anyway, nickel. So we're looking, I've got it as an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, and I still feel we need to come down, but the US dollar is helping as it's moving down, propping this up as well. So there's different ways to view this. I can see that you know, I don't know. I mean, I was just looking at this being down for wave 1 here originally, then an ABC back up here for wave 2, because I've got an impulse wave here. But I'm viewing this as being corrective here. I mean, if this low gets taken out here, then we're on our way to the downside. But otherwise, we're doing something a bit like copper is here. So it does appear that we'll be going up, but it's not, it's just not the best looking thing at the moment for this, but it's kind of getting out of this vibration here a little bit. 1, 2, doesn't count very nicely. I can see all of that. Doesn't count very nicely as a wave 2 here, but I can see that it wants to push up a bit. Anyway, I'm just not interested in nickel just yet for this. It's I just feel that all of this here is corrective. It's not, I don't think it's bullish, you know, just the size of this correction here against this, if we looked at that as wave 1 here, I mean, we could end up in some situation where we've got all the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave up here, something like that, you know. We could possibly do a triangle out of all of this, possible, but whatever it is, it's not a beautiful picture at this point. When corrections mature, like when we've got a leg or two over here in this space, then we'll know what it is. So it's okay not to know. Okay, over to the energy sector. I'm just going to keep this simple. There's a possible wave 4 in down here. So if that was the case, we're looking for this as wave 1 to the upside. There's 2 ways you can count that up here as wave 1. Either way doesn't really present a fantastic wave 1, I must say. The proportions are all over the place, but we could look at it like that. You could look at it as corrective as well, as an A and a B here, an ABC for the A wave, a B wave and a C wave up here. You could do that. So I understood that, and we wanted to get a classic trading levels pattern on 90 before we traded, but we only got the first high above the level, so we didn't get the rest of it. But we've got this corrective pattern here now. It's corrective as long as that low stays in place, basically, you know, because or it would be confirmed as an ABC correction if that B wave was breached up here. That would be our safe long trade at that point. So if that was the case, we could get a small position here and then look to build in on top of the 90. But that said, we had been looking down here as the A wave, the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I won't go into all of that. We've been there, done that, but that's just the count if you're looking for it. And then looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for third, fourth. So we've got a bit of an impulse wave here, which I like. And then we've been looking for the A wave and then the B wave. And last time we spoke, we were looking for the C wave to come down. Or was it this one? Can't remember. Anyway, we've got a nice ABC here. It's not an ABC until these tops get taken out here. And then over here, we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that makes a nice little wave 1, and then a nice ABC here. And then we've got an impulse wave here. So what we're looking at here really is we're looking at impulse waves to the upside, impulse wave, impulse wave, impulse wave, and impulse wave, and then we're looking at corrective patterns to the downside, corrective, 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 corrective. So it's telling me, it's all the impulse waves are pointing to the upside. So it's telling me that it could go up from here. So all we need to do is buy a new high. So we were looking at these highs that narrow over on this high here. So this morning when we did this in the Australian video, we're looking for that to pull back to the, a 50-60% pullback there. So we could drop that down to that high and then down to that high. But the other thing to do now too, I mean, you could buy it back here. We can see the stochastic sort of lining up here as well. So if you want to get a really small position there that you're happy to lose that money by when you put it in there, that's all good, sort of. So anyway, let's just check on that a bit further before we kind of open our gob too much. So yeah, it's pretty much at that 50-60%. It'd be nice if it was down there a little bit closer, but that 500, that's the most, 400, 500 there. So what have we got here? 450 is the next one. A nice solid support on the 450 with a classic trading levels pattern on a tick chart. Then that will give you the edge to the upside, but otherwise you can go long at that point. Obviously this will give you long trades in the in stock as well. I won't look at that, but so look, it's kind of shaping up, so yeah, I mean, the idea with this is that if this is correct, then we'll be taking out the tops way up here for that, if it's correct. If we're wrong and we still go up, we might just go 50% up, might go halfway up. So if you're thinking about moving into this market, you don't have to make a big bet just here. You kind of think of, I like to think of, well, this is the closest largest number here. If I could get 3 or 4 small bets in here and try to manage the risk on at least the first one, you know, until you got some pocket money behind you, and then build in onto top of the 90. From the 90 here, we'd look at 10, 20 and 30 as group 1. We'd build in on that and then onto the 50. So we can put bigger bets as you go, but just start off really small with it all. And that way it's easier, you know, because we still need to confirm the trends up, because in a way we haven't taken out, you know, this high, so we're going to use this high and this high. Yeah, and also understand group 2 along the way as well. So we've got here from 8 to 9, we've got 10, 20, 1, 2, 3 that make up group 1. So it's sitting on group 1. The next one is 5, where we are now. The next one is 8. When we talk about 8, we talk about group 2. So we want 650 in here. So if the market can find support in 650, then can't get it on the nose there. Anyway, 650 there, you have to get that, and then the 720 there as group 2, and then once it gets support into that 50, which I'm just going to shape up a little bit better, 8650. See how here it tried to get support here? It just couldn't get support. It tried to get in there. That's what you'd be looking for over here, because once you've got a classic trading levels pattern on that 650 and 65 number here, 650 in this case, then you're leaving the 5 here. Do you know? You're leaving this number. You're leaving the 5, and if it can get support in here, then you're working with this number. So if you went long here, you would keep the stop under the low here. Okay, now you don't move the stop up until until group 2 becomes the support. Then you can move it up further, and then once you move it up to this area, once this becomes the tested support, that number here needs, the 8650 needs to become the tested support. Give it time, and then move your stop up to there, and then leave it there, because what you have to do next, the next thing is that you want to be adding onto here. And then the market, when it gets to the 90 here, it's going to be fluctuating between group 1 up here, so 10, 20 and 30. So this is the, when you're talking about this number here, the 90 here, this is from the top of group 1 back down to here. That's its swing range here. So before you can move the stop up from under group 2 here, that 90 has to become the support. And it takes a while, because you'll know that you're going to get something that's going to be, this is now going to become the support over here, this group 2 here, but it can push up into here, push back down into here. It can do all sorts of things in this space here, but you don't want it flicking you out of the market, you know. You need to be building, once it does its fluffing around in here, then we can start building over this side. But you have to soak that up there. It's either that, or you trade through here up to the 90, get out, and then wait and get back in over here. But sometimes it's a bit trickier to get back in once you're already in there, you know, because once you've got the pocket money here, it doesn't matter too much. Once you've got your buffer of profit in there, it doesn't really matter if you don't get the perfect entry. So it's a little bit easier, you know. But if you get out, then you have to manage that initial risk again. It's just, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, we'll just see how the cookie crumbles. The whole thing could just fall out of bed, and you know, we're totally wrong, and yeah, that's the way it goes. Would be the first time or the last. So on to natural gas. So I thought, I'm sorry guys, I thought that we would be looking, I looked at this naturally and thought wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, we'll go for a wave 4 here, and then we'll have a wave 5 down into $5, you know, because we don't end on a double bottom here. But then on that rally there, I thought, oh shit, I've done something wrong again. So then if I go to the commodities here and look at natural gas here, I can see that it's already plowed down to the $5 mark. It's clearly taken that low out here, and it's over here now, you know. So you know, it's done all its right things, because we were basically looking at this move down here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here. That was our thing, you know, for a bigger ABC pattern to the upside. So a bigger A here, and then an ABC for the B wave here. We can put that in here actually. So down here somewhere, so we put the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave up there. I was going even higher than that, not intermediate. It's going to go cycle, so I'll just put that on cycle degree there, and I'll have to put that on primary degree. It doesn't really feel right doing that, but I'll just do that for the time being. So all of this whole 5-wave structure up here, which I also need to change to primary now as well. So the A wave up here, and then we're looking for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here. I just thought that, you know, I just thought it'd be pulled to this number, and on my CFD platform, it didn't get pulled to that number. Then I looked at the futures here, and I thought, oh shit, I missed that. So now the thing here is that, you know, the question is do we go up for that C wave? Now I know that. I know that you can count this 5 waves up here, 2 wave 1 up here, and have this back for wave 2 here. But I always start with a conservative approach, and we could look at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave also as well. So we'll see the speed in which this moves up here. You know, if it really moves up strongly, well then we'll have a 3rd wave, and then we'll go accordingly. But the structure will be the same. If it's the C wave, it will be a little bit lazier. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm aware of both counts. And the other thing is too is that, you know, that's not set in stone either. You know, why couldn't this get more complicated here as well? Why couldn't it just go up to 50% and then come down again like this, you know? And it will have a, you know, if you have a look at the history of this particular market here, it's not that pretty. Let's just go to a weekly chart so we can get in some more data here, or monthly or something. How much we got here? I don't give you much data, do they? You can see, you know, it's a bit like, it's like all of this really. You can see that it's a very jagged affair. Like you could probably count some 5-wave structure up to here, for example, and then it's come back down, and it's had an A and a B and a C here. So it could do something like that, you know. It's a very spiky critter, the gas market, isn't it, you know? And yeah, so we, you know, we just got to be a little bit careful about making assumptions about things. So we need to build a case, we need to build some evidence for things. So just bringing that back here. So it's quite possible for it to play out with some sort of head and shoulders here as well. As anything can kind of happen. So we just need to build a case, okay? But anyway, I went to the futures market here to just point out that it has moved down to that that $5 mark, and it didn't do it. That didn't show up on my platform. It just gave me mine's a CFD platform, just because they make their own market to a point. So yeah, the other thing here too is the UNG ETF here. I always get that mixed up. So yeah, what we need to do next is we need to build a case of an impulse wave off the low here. This is the the gas fund here for this. So this might be, if folks want to trade this, so you can't really hold CFDs long term, you know. Anything over 6 weeks, you may as well get a margin account, you know, it'll be cheaper at that point, you know. So then it just becomes the futures market, which, I mean, I've brought up on the futures. I like the futures, you know, it's just black and white. There's a buyer and there's a seller, and there's no overnight financing costs on everything, you know, so you can hold things much longer. I haven't traded gas before, so I don't know what the rollover, I mean, the futures market will have the same, you know, quarterly rollovers and all the rest of it, but I don't know if they operate any differently in terms of how you know, rolling over into the next month or something. So, or if they're a continuous month for it or something. Yeah. So, but still, now we need to work this case here. I know a lot of folks had this up as wave 1 here, or wave 1 to here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, but obviously that's blown that out of the water. So yeah, left with the A, the B and the C was always the other alternative count. Even when we're heading up here, we had this as an A and a B and a C count. So but we also had at the other count. I think it's good to have different counts and just work through them. So this is what we're going to do here as well. So I was looking for one more move down here because I just knew that it wouldn't finish on this double bottom here. Look, it still might be the case, but as far as the crow flies, we'll probably need to put that into here now and look at C of B here. Now on the 100 tick chart, I have counted this down. We're going to go and have a close look at it. But I've done it 1 degree smaller, unfortunately, I think. So yeah, but our next job so far, this move up here, right, that's currently in 3 waves. We need to see it in 5 waves. If we get 5 waves, then we can buy the ABC pullback here. That's what we're going to be doing. And then if that's the case, then we're going to be building in through this leg here. And we'll see where that takes us. Don't get lost that it's going to go to the moon just yet. We need to go step by step. So this is the 50-60% retracement level. And the normal thing for me is to figure out, do we get 5 waves to the 61.8%, or do we get, are we going to get 3 waves to the 61.8%? That's one of the things that we'll need to work out along the way. But our first step is to confirm if we do get 5 waves in this first little leg here, then we get 5 waves. That's going to give us a guarantee that, well, loose guarantee, that we're going to get another 5 over here for that. So I'm going to go from the daily chart to the 100 ticks, and I'll need to bring in some other more data here. Oh no, I did do things right. Well, why didn't I do? Oh, I see what I did wrong. When you make 5 or 6 videos a day, it's without a break, you lose your marbles. So that can go there, that can go there. Now I do just want to point out how I've counted this. So first of all, this move down through here, as I've always said, it's it doesn't count very well. You could count it as an A and a B and a C wave down here. That would work. You could count it as down as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here. So that's possible. So it can be counted in different ways. So I've taken a bit of liberty here and just gone wave 1 and 2 here, because the size of this wave 2 here would kind of rebalance this trend here, you know, and it's pulled back up, done all the right type of things, pulling back up right onto the 61.8%. So even though it's a little bit unclear with this mess here, it has ticked other boxes by having a beautiful wave 2, simple and sharp, pulling back up to the 61.8% and all those sort of things. But if there's a mistake made, it would be in here somewhere. Now the next thing in here is that this is probably what you may not have, but this, I've got this as wave 1, 2, 3, 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for my third wave here. And the reason I've done that for, I don't know, you need a bit of a keen eye for this, but this this structure here of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this is such a nice 5-wave structure here. So that's why I've done that, and then it makes it a nice complicated wave 4 here. And then I've moved this down. I mean, I had all this labeled anyway, but I just had it 1 degree smaller. I put wave 3 on the bottom there, and then we've looked at this as a complicated wave 4, because I don't have 5 waves moving down here to go like 3, 4, 5 here. So it counts 9. I've got 5 waves here, I've got 5 waves here, so an A, B, C for the A wave, an A, B, C here for the B wave. So from 3, an A and a B, and then a C wave up here for wave 4. Then I've gone down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then 1 and 2, 1 here and 2 here. That 2 goes all the way down for 3 and 4 here, and this wave 1 goes from here to here. And then we've got quite a nice structure of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here. The fourth wave, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we've got the third wave here, the fifth of the, whoops, not that one I want, this little blue dude. And a bit of a small fourth wave here. That bothers me a little bit, but everything else is pretty small as well. So it does count from wave 4 down to wave 5 here. And, you know, even if I looked at it how I was looking at it before, looking at this as down for wave 1 here and 2 here, and then looking down as roughly there, but looking down, I've pulled back up over 50%, you know, and even if I meant to put this over here for this wave 2, sorry about that. So we're above the 50% here for this, the 40% rather, 38.2%. So it's likely that we could be going up for wave 1 here now. So what we want to do now is just, we don't really need to do much. We don't even need to be in the market because, yes, it will go higher, but it will come back on us as well. So just give that some consideration. We can count here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to this little point here. Now I was a little bit unsure about this. I just labeled this an A wave and then an A, B, C for the B wave and down for the C wave, but that could be wrong there. So that will come out in the wash a little bit later on. So I might need to look at this as 1 here because it does give me a little 5 wave structure here. I might need to look at this as wave 1 and 2 back here, and then looking at this as a 1 and 2 here. I can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then going up for wave 5. So we're very close to the top here. So that will probably play out at the group 1 of 6,000. So this is all of group 1 in here, 2, 1. Let's I haven't got that right there. 2, 2, 2. Oh, good enough. Anyway, if you know group 1, you know what I'm talking about, of that 6,000, of $6 rather. So what I thought about here is that yeah, I need to give that a bit more thought, but apart from that, we're just looking for wave 1 and 2, maybe 2 to here or 2 to here. I don't know that just yet. I'll just leave it there. And then we're looking for a third wave, which this is a nice strong third wave up here, isn't it? The wave 4 will identify itself because it will pop out of this current trend, and then we'll have wave 5. Once we've got wave 5 in there, then we're going to have an A and a B and a C wave. Now wave 2 can be simple and sharp and pull back 50-60% of wave 1. It can pull back deeper as well, but we need just to start somewhere. Sometimes they only pull back a little way as well. Sometimes they might just pull back to the wave 4s here, especially if the wave 4s end up being big and chunky and having a lot of volume turned over in them. We might just pull back as a little ABC to here and then go up from there. But we will be looking for a classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 65 here. But the first step is, if we do get 5 waves here, then we know that after that we're going to get another 5 waves to the upside, either from there or down here somewhere. So that's what we'll be looking for. We'll be looking for this pullback here. Now, if you're trading ETFs and things like that, it does ETFs and stocks, it doesn't really matter too much. You know, if you're trading leveraged contracts, well, then it's you know, you're a surgeon then. You know, you got to kind of be very accurate in what you do. There's a lot of risk. You know, I don't even know what the limit up and limit down is on gas. If there is a limit on gas, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't traded gas futures before. So yeah, that's it in a bit of a nutshell. So what we're doing is we're just simply confirming we have 5 waves up here, right? And then we'll have the pullback. So buying back probably around this number here, the 6,000, would be, you know, we wouldn't be far off the money at that point, you know. Let's just give that a bit of definition that it deserves. Has it played a part before? A little bit. Okay, so that's kind of it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my 2 bobs worth. And if I make a mistake and this just keeps on cruising all the way up here, then you still need to look for a classic trading levels pattern across the top there. It just might end up being smaller, you know, it might be something where it comes like this here, just something kind of simple and then up again like that, you know. So it'll be something like this here, something kind of nice, and take that high and then that high and that high, you know, keep it simple. So that could possibly be it. I'll keep an eye on it each day as well. And if I need to make any adjustments before we do the next video, I'll put this in the Australian video. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Sorry for such a long video, but yeah, stuff. I have to do stuff. Alrighty, cheers.